I want to tell you about one very important episode to help you understand a truth. You need to know that when there's a case of diabolical possession, there is a dialogue between the exorcist and the devil.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to another video on Armor of God. I'm Benjamin, and in this video, we'd like to share something that the late Father Amorth once said about hell, which is quite interesting that we think you'd like to know too. Father Amorth always spoke highly of his mentor, the late Father Candido Amantini, a Passionist priest who served as the exorcist for the Diocese of Rome for 36 years at the Scala Santa. During one interview, Father Amorth, who assisted Father Amantini for 6 years in exorcisms before he was appointed as an exorcist in 1986, shared a conversation that Father Amantini had with the devil about hell. One frequently asked question is, why would an all-loving God create hell, let alone send souls there? But here's the truth. God did not make us to suffer. True, in the Garden of Eden, there did exist temptation, represented by the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Adam and Eve succumbed to temptation, spurred on by Satan's lies. Having the freedom to love means having the freedom to reject love and the source of love, which is God. But evil, sin, and hell are Satan's doing and not God's. As I shared earlier, Father Amantini was Rome's chief exorcist for 36 years, often seeing 60 to 80 people per day. As such, Father Amantini witnessed demonic possession and interacted with the devil thousands of times. His protege and successor, Father Amorth, recounts one exorcism where Father Amantini asked the devil, "How is it possible that God created hell?" Father Amorth has himself asked this question of demons, and their answer is always the same. Here's what Father Amorth said word by word in response to the question.
I want to tell you about one very important episode to help you understand a truth. You need to know that when there's a case of diabolical possession, there is a dialogue between the exorcist and the devil. Satan is a great liar, but sometimes the Lord obliges him to tell the truth. Once Father Candido was liberating a person after many exorcisms, and with his typical irony, he told the devil, "Go away, for the Lord has created a nice warm home for you. He has prepared a little house for you where you won't suffer from the cold." However, the devil interrupted him and replied, "You don't know anything." When the devil interrupts with a saying like this, it means that God has obliged him to tell the truth. And this time, it was extremely important. The faithful often ask me, "But how is it possible that God created hell? Why did he think of a place of suffering?" And so that time the devil responded to the provocations of Father Candido by revealing an important truth about hell. It was not him, God, who created hell. It was us. He hadn't even thought of it. Therefore, in the plan of God's creation, the existence of hell had not been contemplated. The demons created it. During exorcisms, I have also often asked the devil, "Did you create hell?" And his response has always been the same. We all cooperated. Who must be afraid, us or the devil? The letter of James says textually, "Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." James 4:7. The demon keeps his distance from the one who nurtures his faith, who frequents the sacraments, and who wishes to live devoutly. Why? Simply put, the devil hates God and is in terror of him, and anything that even has the odor of sanctity. If we think about it, we can recall periods of our existence in which we have intensified our interior life and felt stronger in resisting temptations. On the other hand, we must avoid becoming arrogant and must always remember that the demon does not ever cease to tempt us, even to the end of our days. I should also mention that sacred places, in particular those where a strong Marian devotion exists, have a similar effect. For these Satan has an invincible aversion. Loreto, Lourdes, Fatima, just to cite a few that are well known. Many liberations occur in these places. Satan fears the sons of God, those seeking to conform their lives to Jesus. The devil is aware that he is stronger and more intelligent than we are, but he also knows that we are not alone in the struggle against him. One example suffices. Toward the sunset of his life, Don Bosco, one of the greatest saints of the 19th century, liberated a girl from possession simply by entering the chapel dressed in sacred vestments to celebrate Mass. The devil is in fear of the saints and their sanctity. God, in his infinite power, created multitudes of angels, an impressive, incalculable number. One day during an exorcism, Father Candido Amantini, a Passionist priest and my great teacher, asked a demon, "How many are you?" The demon responded, "We are so many that if we were visible, we would obscure the sun." The demon on that occasion gave information that we have no reason to disbelieve because it is confirmed in the Bible. A great number of the angels fell because they rebelled against God. We recall that before admitting the angels to paradise, God subjected them to a trial of obedience and humility, of which we know the nature but not the specifics. The sin of the fallen angels was one of pride and disobedience. Satan, the most beautiful of all the angels, being aware of his extreme intelligence, rebelled at the idea of being subjected to someone. He forgot that he was a creature made by God. Many angels followed him in his folly. The original sins of the angels are the same as those who implicitly or explicitly adhere to Satanism. Angels and men who follow Satan base their existence on three principles and practical rules of life. You can do what you wish. That is, without subjugation to God's laws. You obey no one, and you are the God of yourself. What happened between the angels is narrated in the 12th chapter of the book of Revelation. There was a great war between the angels who remained faithful to God and those who rebelled against him. In brief, a war between the angels and the demons. In this passage, the Bible tells us that Michael the archangel was at the head of the angels, and that the dragon guided the angels who rebelled and were defeated. The result was that there was no longer any place for them in heaven. Revelation 12:8.
Even the exorcist Monsignor Stephen Rossetti said pretty much the same thing, albeit worded differently, which he shared in his book, The Exorcist's Diary. Demons want to hang on to their possessed people. Time and again during an exorcism they whine and say they don't want to leave. This always reminds him of the demons legion in the Bible who begged Jesus, as he was exorcising them, to go into the swine because apparently they don't want to go back to hell. But hell is the place of their own making. There is a well-known line among exorcists uttered by a demon during an exorcism. The priest was commanding the demons to go back to hell, the place which he said that God made for them. But the demon replied, "You stupid priest, God didn't make hell. He would never have thought of such a place. We made it." This is why hell is so horrible, because it was made by demons. In the course of an exorcism, it is often difficult to get rid of them. They cling tenaciously. In one session a couple of years ago, a demon asked to make a deal with Monsignor Rossetti. The demon was hoping to stay a bit longer, but he responded, "You want to make a deal? I'll give you a deal. You leave. That's the deal." And the demon left that afternoon. Demons will try every trick in the book to stay. They will hide and make you think they are gone. They will try to keep the possessed person from coming to the sessions. In the sessions themselves, they will beg and plead, or conversely, they will act like they are unfazed by it all. One of their favorite lines is, "We will never leave." But they do leave. Eventually, demons act like desperate beasts facing their own destruction. They will flail and scream. Monsignor Rossetti recalls that he can still hear the words of Lucifer himself when he was personally cast out by the Virgin Mary. He screamed, "No," 3 times, and then he was gone. Lucifer and his minions themselves, not God, made hell. It is an unspeakably horrible place. The demons do everything they can to avoid going back.